have not read
Yeah.
read it.
Well,
But even if he was the biggest racist in the world, that does not in any way disprove evolution.
oh, no, that's what I just said. This argument has nothing to do with evolution is true or not. I'm telling you, all I'm asking you to do is look the facts, the historical facts in the face, and see what the consequences of believing evolution is.
And therefore, that should be a reason not to accept.
I have a lot of other reasons not to accept it. I just went through that, okay? That's my belief. But I'm telling you, it's not a reason to accept it, but you have to understand what your belief system brings to it. People aren't important. Life is not important, no more than a grasshopper. That's evolutionary theory. It's the only thing you can get from evolutionary theory. You think you're much better than a dog because you've evolved higher? When you got lucky? You weren't born a dog, so now you think you're much better than they are? No, evolutionary theory says you're no better than they are.
There isn't such a thing as better.
It's not, you're criticizing.
Better means you can take their stuff. I mean,
Yeah, in that sense, yes, but in the sense that you were reading it, science doesn't say there's a better, more morally valuable.
higher evolved, that's not,
Yeah.
you don't think there's an inference of being better by being more highly evolved, and you really don't? Okay.
Better in the biological sense, yes, but not in a religious
How
sense.
about in mental sense? Yeah, in every way.
You're really criticizing atheism, not evolution.
Okay, no, but
That's
wait a
what
minute.
you're
Now,
criticizing.
evolution, except for people, misguided Christians, who I would still call Christians, who believe in theistic evolution, okay? I'm telling you that my argument is, yes, it's against atheism, but that's what evolutionary theory is. You understand? Okay, evolutionary theory says there is no God that did all this. That's atheism.
Evolution
I don't know how
doesn't say
you
there's no
meld God and macroevolution together except through theistic evolution, that you believe that God either created life and let it go by evolution, or he comes along every now and then and puts more animals in the world. I mean, I don't know that there are all these people believe that. That's not Christian orthodoxy at all. That's belief system. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm going after atheism, but atheism and evolutionary theory, or evolutionist belief, is not that they're all connected. They're not separate. Okay? All atheists aren't evolutionists. I'd say all atheists are evolutionists. I guess you couldn't hardly believe in a God if you're an atheist. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jerry, you have that highlighted in your book there, what Darwin said about the inferior races. Did he say
These highlights are something else, but
did he say they must be eliminated or that they will be?
will be and should be. Not
He said
not
should
must be, of course. Must be eliminated.
Well, should be is about the same as must.
Yeah.
But he says should,
Yeah, definitely.
but you don't have that highlighted.
I don't right now, but I'll look it up. Okay?
Does he say we should eliminate the people or we should eliminate the problem? Case in point, man's smart enough to eradicate AIDS. We don't kill the people with AIDS. We find solutions for that. We find diseases to solve the problems. That's a compassionate hand of an intelligent man.
Okay, but let me make sure you understand. Charles Darwin didn't believe that Negroes were human.
But that's what I was asking.
Yeah. He didn't believe Aborigines were human. He didn't think they were human beings. Therefore, they were animals. You can do anything you want to with them. Okay? You don't agree with that? That he didn't think they were human beings? He didn't think they were? One of the central planks in Nazi theory and doctrine was evolutionary theory, and that all biology had evolved upward, and that less evolved types should be actively eradicated, and that natural selection could and should be actively aided. And therefore, the Nazis instituted political measures to eradicate Jews and blacks, whom they considered as underdeveloped. Also ended up coming after the Christians eventually.
And gays.
Okay? Jews were not, they were a pollution to their genetic structure. So he had to get rid of them. Now he was a follower of Darwin. These ideas are Darwinian ideas. That's where the first idea of eugenics comes from. And he was a eugenics person. He conquered the world to do it.
You realize Hitler went to the seminary.
So did Darwin.
He had some Christian
So
upbringing.
did Darwin.
Harry, I know all that, but it's irrelevant because he was not a Christian in any way, shape, or form. The only time he ever professed any Christianity was the Catholic Church.
How
Was
do you
so
know that?
I've read about Hitler. I've read Hitler's writings in history of Hitler. He professed that he believed in God, and he was a Christian, and he was a Catholic, because most of Germany was Catholic. When he started, he wanted their support. He brought them out of he brought nationalism into it. And then after he got their support, he did nothing that was Christian. He wasn't a Christian. He did it for his convenience. Somebody in the Free Thinkers group said, they wore a belt buckle that said, God is best, or something like that said. I said, that doesn't tell you they're Christians.
Did he ever say he wasn't a Christian?
No.
Let me ask you, Harry, you think a Christian would kill 7 million people indiscriminately because they were of a different race than they were?
To dominate the world, maybe?
Yes, people, once you
That's not
believe,
Christianity, Harry. If you don't know Christianity, you don't understand that. But if you want to criticize a belief system, learn something about it, because Christianity doesn't say anything like that. Love your neighbor as yourself, and that neighbor is anybody. That is not, Christianity is what it is, and you just got a bad idea of what it is, that's all.
Well, they're bad Christians, you're saying.
Oh, are you kidding? The worst thing about Christianity are the Christians. Are you kidding? Of course they are. It's a whole, okay, one of the pillars of Presbyterian thought coming from Calvinism says, the depravity of man. We're all depraved people without restraint. That's a pillar of, it's also a theological principle, not just Calvin. And I'm saying, yes, there are really bad Christians.
They're really bad Christians.
Are you kidding
Well,
me?
you can't judge a person by him saying that he's a Christian.
Right.
but
Of
they're
course
real
you
Christians.
can.
Not
Of course
pretend
you
Christians,
cannot.
you mean real Christians, like in the
So saying you're a
Inquisition.
Christian doesn't
They were
make
real
you
Christians.
Bill, I just told you they weren't Christians.
But they believed they were real
They
Christians.
were,
What-
you know what they were
Christians.
doing? They were doing a political will of the ruler of that country. They were not Christians. They called themselves Christians, but that was just something they could use as a rallying point, I guess, because they didn't do Christian things. That is not Christian.
What was the motivation if it wasn't religious?
Power. Taking
All
over
they had to
territory.
do- All they had to do was make people say, I believe in Jesus, and then they would have been saved, but they executed them.
No, that wasn't the.
And they weren't Christian in doing it either. Okay? So, this Inquisition crusade thing is the biggest zero argument I've ever heard in my life. I've heard it so many times. It's crazy. I know what a Christian is supposed to do, and all Christians that are serious about their faith know what they're supposed to do, and it's not kill people. Okay? You're like trying to say, I'm going to besmirch your belief system by what your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather did. That's not even logical.
No, it's perfectly natural to have cafeteria Christians that accept some parts of the Bible and reject others, and that's fine. That's the best way to do it, actually.
Oh,
Well, do you say, are you asking me, are there cafeteria Christians?
Yeah,
Yes.
when you reject the part of the Bible
Yeah, I
that
agree.
says kill the heathens, kill the non-believers, that's
I
in
just
the
explained
Bible.
that.
doesn't
You-
say
you
that.
listen?
it doesn't.
It doesn't say that in the Bible.
Do you listen?
There is
Did you
nowhere
listen? No, he's
it
talking
says-
about,
In the Old Testament,
he's
yes.
talking about when among other times, the Israelites went into the promised land and killed all the Hittites and Amorites and all that. Is that what you're talking about?
It doesn't say kill the heathens.
Right.
When
I'll bring it
when
up.
the Israelites, yes, I know my Bible, and
Heathen
let,
is not used.
may I
Kill the
explain
heathen.
something? When the Israelites were going into their promised land, they had to go through many, many areas that were very dangerous. Let's say like a Muslim area where they would be killed if they did not kill first. God gave them the ability and the understanding that if you do not take care of this situation, you are going to be the one that dies.
So you have my approval to kill them, their wives and their children as well.
Okay, I will explain to you this. I'll explain to you one more time. All right? Killing the people who were in the land was God's foreknowledge that they were never going to become believers. He knew that. If he's a God and sovereign, he knows that. All right, secondly, killing children is a blessing to the children if they're going to grow up and die in their sins, because they will be in heaven. Children are below the age of accountability, so you're doing with...
They're exempt.
You see, you can't think like a Christian. I understand it's hard for you to think that way, okay?
No, that's how that mother thought and drowned her 3 kids so that they would go to heaven.
She wasn't a Christian. She wasn't doing Christian things, Bill. I mean,
Well, you just,
all right, here we go. All right, that's actually a historical fact. Here we go again. Joseph Stalin, he remained all his life an admirer of Darwin. His theories had been so exciting and controversial in Stalin's youth. Darwin had taught him that all things more progressively in an evolutionary determinism. And this is in Stalin's Russia, historical reconsideration. And this is a conversation that was related, written down and came through history in a biography of Stalin. I began to speak of God. Joseph heard me out, and after a moment's silence said, you know, they are fooling us. There is no God. I was astonished at these words. I had never heard anything like it before. How can you say such things? I exclaimed. I'll lend you a book to read. It will show you that the world and all living things are quite different from what you imagine. And all this talk about God is sheer nonsense. Joseph said, what book is that? I inquired. Darwin, you must read it. Joseph impressed on me, and this is a guy named, you can name it, you can pronounce it, I can't.